Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Thoughts on Education, an initiative by collegedunia.com. Today, to celebrate the women leadership, we have with us Dr. Arpita Gupta. Ma'am is the director for Dronachar Group of Institution, Greater Noida. Ma'am has a very vast experience in teaching and education background. Good afternoon, ma'am. I welcome you on behalf of the College Dunia fraternity, and I would request you to please introduce yourself to our audience.
Good afternoon, sir. And I thank College Dunia for giving me this opportunity to tell my vision and introduce myself. Myself, Dr. Arpita Gupta. I have done my BTech from Electronics and Communication field, and I have done MTech in VLSI. My PhD is on the topic of role of electrical properties of human cell in diagnosis of diseases. My research work was appreciated at various national and international levels. I have received a Best Teacher Award in 2014-15, and I have worked on various government-funded projects. And one of my project was LPG gas stove knob, which was I'm applying for a patent. And recently, I was awarded as the Best Women Administrator by Jenison of Education Impression in 2021.
Okay, we are very happy to have you here, ma'am. I mean, you with all your experience and everything, I believe it will be a very informative session for all the viewers as well as the student who are seeing this interview. We are very happy to have you on board, ma'am. So, ma'am, my first question for you is, the pandemic has unfolded the systematic and strategic shortfall of most of the institute and regulatory authorities. Where do you think the problem lies?
In 2020, because of COVID-19, it affected almost every part of the world. 50 million people around the world were affected by it. It has governments operating in context of radical uncertainty and faced with difficult trade-offs given in the health, economic and social challenges it raises. By April 2020, more than half of the world population was experiencing a lockdown and a strong containment measures. Beyond the health and human tragedy, coronavirus also affected the economy of the world. And the economic crisis was such that it was being experienced by us after World War II. The nature of the crisis is unpredictable. Beyond the short-term repeated health and economic shocks, we were getting a new shock and it was economically given to us. The COVID crisis was massively accelerated. Some of the pre-existing things came into picture, and it was digitalization. Online things we are getting used to it, and digitalization really helped us a lot to overcome this crisis.
Obviously, ma'am, I would also like to mention that we all are very thankful to all the teachers as well as the administration people who has to take up this case with all the, like, I step forward to a digitalization. I know teachers and everyone was not that tech savvy at all, but like we have seen all these videos and photos where we have seen people like going to a step further, teaching so that they can teach their student. So everyone is very proud of all the teachers that we have in our country, and I would personally like to thank you all for it. So my second question for you is, ma'am, COVID-19 has ill impacted all sectors, including higher education. How has Dronachara Group of Institution coped up to it? What is your vision in your near future for the institute?
In the wake of pandemic, Dronacharya Group of Institutions shuttered the physical campuses after sensing the seriousness of the situation for the academic year and moved immediately to the sessions online. We have a clear and firm vision. If the thought was the institution is prepared for whatever may come in the way. The characteristics that compromise its unique student experience will not be compromised at all. No matter what happens with the crisis, this institution will always work for the benefit of the students, and no compromises will be there in their academics and learning tools. Addressing these challenges will require uncertain level of communication and personalized outreach with the students. I think you understand. You have to be connected with the students every now and then, because the students were that part of the society which were suffering the most, because we are grown ups. The students, the things were changing very dramatically and very overnight. The changes were being done with the students. While the dynamics of the pandemic and its impacts continues to evolve, so our teaching methodology also changed. Firstly, online sessions were arranged to train the faculty members. Then we formed group of proctors and class counselors. They were in regular touch with the students for counseling and to teach them how to cope up with the new technology. We used to take CR meeting, class representative meetings very oftenly, because we wanted the class should get a clear message about the changes which we are doing. You will not believe, we have also, when the partial lockdown was there, we have also couriered and parceled books, library books to the students in rural areas, because they were not having internet connectivity. We have made notes, and we shared the recorded videos with them, so that once they get into connected, they are connected with the globally connected, then they can download these study materials. The major problem was yet to come, and that was distraction. Online classes were very easy for us to take, but we suddenly started feeling that the messages which we are giving, the classes we are giving, it is not going into the student's mind, and that was the distraction was the reason behind it. So we immediately changed the portal of our teaching methodology, and we started giving them quizzes. We started them interacting with them very oftenly inside the classroom, so that they don't get any space to get distracted. But still, that distraction will always be there. If a phone is with you, you will get distracted definitely. So online assignments were also shared with them, and class tests, which were again on online platform, also helped them to cope up with the academics. Surprisingly, I would like to share the placement drives have increased virtually. The HR of the industry coped up very well, and they helped us, and they took so many drives, and maximum of our students got placed with a very lucrative packages.
That is great on behalf of an institute. My third question for you is, what will be the major post-COVID development in Indian higher education system? What are some of the major challenges you see for higher education in general and for DGI Greater Noida in specific?
All right, yeah, that is a good question. COVID-19 pandemic has made all the educational institute across the world adopting teaching online. We all are familiar with it. Courses and evaluations are conducted online. Assignments are submitted via email or some other online platforms. As crisis has silver lining. For countries like India, this is a good opportunity to strengthen the internet connectivity across rural India. Every village and towns in India should be digitally connected for better interaction between the students and the teachers. Institutes have a sort of infrastructure to connect students, but the experience shows that not all students had good interaction due to the many reasons. It can be the family background, it can be internet connectivity, it can be the student itself. Some of the students are quick to adopt to this system, and some take little time to acquaint with this system. It's time India should establish a good infrastructure for online education, like some of the advanced countries are doing as well. The greatest advantage of such a system in education can become international. We can be globally recognized if we make courses and it can run internationally, and we will get a good recognition from all over the world. The strength lies in the faculty and institute. I repeat this. The strength of an institute is their faculty members. And the faculty members, there were many faculty members who were not computer savvy, but they learned it because they wanted their students to get benefited by their knowledge. Higher education in India needs to be more international, more flexible, should be innovative, and more practical approach should be there. And online portals are all giving this type of features, so I have no problem in this. According to Dr. Francisco, an advisor for Khatar Foundation in India, during his webinar, he once said, and I remember, that webinar was held by Geo International Institute in India. Higher education should be redesigned. He said very clearly, the higher education should be redesigned. It should be flexible, more innovative, more international, but more locally connected and socially responsible, for more collaboration and less risk adverse. Innovative models will attract the students, and the creativity of the students will be highlighted. So in Dronacharya, post-COVID-19 is an opportunity to transform, and we are ready with it, and our students are adopting it, and I'm really thankful to them, and I really get surprised when I see the things are changing and the students are also changing their mindset. We are all ready for the new normal.
It is great to listen to your thoughts on that, ma'am. My third question for you is, there are concerns that online education is not at mark to offline education for a skill-based program. Like when we talk about the BTech, we talk about the practicals that we have, we talk about the labs that we have. So how, in your opinion, can this issue be addressed, or can we curate a blended teaching as well as learning mechanism?
Yes, well asked, Pul. I really strongly believe that no one can replace that chalk duster teaching methodology, and I love teaching by chalk and a duster. But definitely, surprisingly, the online method is also being liked by many of us. While some believe that the unplanned and rapid move to online learning, it was very, very rapid. It was very, very immediate. We did not have any other option. So we suddenly moved to the online option with no training. That is also correct. With no training, insufficient bandwidth, and little preparation has resulted in a poor use of online platform. But in the same time, what I feel, gradually we learned how to use it, and by Googling, and we took help from other institutes also, and we now in a very good position to handle online classes as well. As a teacher, I also take classes in first year and third year. As a teacher, what I felt like, I can be better, have a better connectivity with my students. If a student is studying in the evening hours, he can just post me and ask me a question through any chat device, any software he is having. He can just post a question. Whenever I get time, I answer him back. So this is the best thing which I feel the online connectivity is getting more. Other than this, I can share my study material very easily in online portal. I can interact with them. I can share my videos also through online portal. So for me, online and offline classes can go hand in hand. We cannot go just finish off with offline classes. No, we have to take both the classes, types of classes, and they can go hand in hand for the better teaching and learning tool.
Obviously, ma'am. Ma'am, so my last question for you is, being the director for the college, how do you strategize about the key programs and plan for the administration of the college at the same time?
As a director and an educator as well, realizing the value of diverse perspectives and community support, I feel the most what is required at this time is that students have to be morally supported also, because students, they were not coming out of the house, and they were so much frustrated. Only studies were there. They were sitting in front of the mobile. It sometimes they were outbursting with the parents and the teachers also. That was the frustration a student was going through. So it was the sole responsibility of the stakeholder of the child, the student stakeholders, the society, the parents, and the teachers. Three of us should be united for the well-being of that student. And if I take technology-wise, we have very nicely cope up with the online classes. The theoretical is running very well. We have to now practice some sessions on practical things. Hands-on sessions we have to improve, and that online we are not able to very much identify these tools. So IIT Delhi, they have also made many portals, and we are using that. And you will be surprised to know that our students and our faculty members are working very hard to establish something like this. The challenges of online learning is the only practical aspect. So if we go online courses, it is okay, no problem, but practical centers should always be there near the houses of the students. If you go online teaching, the home becomes the institute, and practical centers can help the students to take the practical sessions. And innovation, we should not forget the innovation is something which goes with the engineering side by side. Engineering is learning something, and innovation is implementing that learning into your creativity. So you give your creativity side and the academic side, and then you come up with the innovation. So an engineer is always made in a lab. You cannot make an engineer in classrooms. So I strongly believe when you soil your hand, then only you can be a true engineer.
Obviously, ma'am. Ma'am, so I would like to, ma'am, now we are done with this interview. I would like to thank you on behalf of the complete College Dunia team. We are very happy to have you here, and thank you for your time and your support, ma'am. It was very great hearing to your thoughts on all the questions that I have put up. And I strongly believe that COVID-19 will be a boom for all the sectors, as well as the India will not only grow economically but also mentally.
Yes,
thank you, ma'am.
I agree with you. Thank you, Apur. Thank you for this session. Thank you very much.
Thanks, ma'am. Thank you.